We hear the word hero thrown around every single day. But what actually makes a hero? Is it a professional athlete that comes out and says he's gay? Is it a football player that helps a kid realize a wish? What about the firefighter that rescues a toddler from a burning building? We call everyday public servants heroes just for doing their job. What about people in the military? Are they heroes because they wear a uniform? Or do they have to see combat and pull a soldier to safety to be considered a hero? To be a hero, does an individual need to show exceptional bravery or undaunted courage? Must they risk their own life or the life of somebody else to be considered a hero? So I started thinking about this question a lot around 9/11. The news media started calling everybody that was involved a hero. And in the aftermath, it was apparent that the media was using this word hero for people that were showing bravery. They were showing bravery, but they were really not doing anything more than showing the amount of courage that the average person would show under similar circumstances. So consider that bravery is demonstrated every day when people step out of their comfort zones or they refuse to compromise on their principles. But is that a hero? I mean, in that regard, we're all heroes in one way or another. So I wonder what actually makes someone a hero. Is it extraordinary strength? Is it wearing a uniform? Or is it something more simpler and much rarer? And to answer that, I went back to January 13th of 1982. Air Florida Flight 90 plunged into the freezing Potomac River during a rare Washington, D.C. blizzard. I remember watching it on TV. Dozens of people were trapped in the icy water. And on the shore, you had the first responders and you had hundreds of stranded commuters. They watched in horror as rescue helicopters tried to reach the victims. And there was a life ring that was repeatedly tossed out to a woman drowning in the river, but she was too weak and frozen and overtaken by the trauma of it all to be able to grab it. Bystanders, first responders, they watched, paralyzed. Nobody was doing anything. I remember watching that and thinking how horrific it was. Were they all going to just sit there and watch this woman drown? Then a 28-year-old federal clerk named Lenny Skutnik made a choice. He had no life-saving training. He wasn't on duty of any kind, but without hesitation, he stripped off his coat, dove into the ice-cold water, and pulled this woman to safety. The television cameras captured his valor, and they spread the pictures and the video to the nation all over TV. He became an instant hero. Lenny Skutnik was a hero. He became an instant hero. And I remember Ronald Reagan, who was president at the time, he described Skutnik's bravery. He said, nothing had picked him out particularly to be a hero, but without hesitation, there he was, and he saved her life. Now, when Lenny was asked later on in interviews why he did it, his answer was simple. Nobody else was doing anything. So Lenny didn't act because it was his job. He acted because a human life was at stake, a human life was on the line, and he voluntarily put his own safety aside to save this woman. It was an act of undaunted courage I will never forget. Now, this distinction matters because true heroism isn't just about showing up for work or standing up for a personal opinion. It goes beyond that. It's about selfless action in the face of genuine risk, stepping up when nobody else will. I remember watching those distressing rescue attempts of the victims of Flight 90. Bystanders and the first responders stood on the shoreline watching people struggling to keep their heads above water. It seemed like an eternity, and I could not believe that everyone was going to sit there and watch these people drown, that they were just going to stand there on the shore and just watch these people drown. And it was a relief and a tribute to humanity when Lenny Skutnik jumped in and saved that woman from certain death. So the drowning woman on that fateful day wasn't a hero because she was a victim of a tragedy, nor were the rescue crew who were following orders and just doing their job. It was Lenny Skutnik who, without consideration for his own life, took matters into his own hands to save a life. His selflessness should be an example to us all. And as long as the media misuses the word hero by calling public servants, athletes, movie characters, victims of crime, as long as they call all of these examples heroes, I am sure this conversation will continue. So let me know in the comments what your definition is of a hero. I'd love to hear from you. I read all of the comments. Thanks so much for stopping by. Please like and subscribe. I'm Marlene, and I'll see you next time. Hey, you guys, please take a look around my channel. I have hundreds of videos on topics including Social Security, Medicare, how to get out of debt, pros and cons of moving, relationship issues, health topics, and more. And all of these videos are based on my experience and what I have learned in retirement. And I know that many people are worried about money in retirement, and this is exactly why Rebel Retiree and I created our just-in-time retirement series. And it's absolutely free, you guys, so it doesn't hurt to take a look at it. It's a mindset-based retirement planning strategy that eliminates waste and aligns your finances with your goals and values. With continuous improvement, you free up your resources to create an abundant retirement lifestyle. So I recommend viewing the playlist on this channel. And to get the full picture, visit our website, rebelretirement.com. And if you are nearing retirement and worried about your financial future, you're going to get a whole different viewpoint. See for yourself at rebelretirement.com.